Last night was a mess for the WWE. This was the biggest you messed up you could ever do. You see, I was just watching. I didn't even watch the pay per view, if I'm be honest. I didn't watch it. You know what I did? I was playing on my phone. I was spending time with my wife, and I also was just on Instagram. And then the first thing I popped up when I saw on Instagram was, oh, hey, that's Ruby Riott, one of my favorite female wrestlers that never became champion. Well, any women's champion like I would have put her. I would at least had her as the NXT Women's Champion, at least for a good 3 months. I keep saying 3 months because that's a normal lifespan of someone holding the title, at least a pretty average at best. Not really supposed to accomplish too much, but a kind of nice little reign. But she popped up. Adam Cole, the most shocking to me personally, Adam Cole popped up, which made me question so much because I felt like he was just yesterday he was in NXT, but he's now in AEW, which makes me state to myself, okay. And I remember how he left to go to NXT, so I knew that the Young Bucks betrayed him and everything like that, and it was kind of a shocking thing to see him join them. So I do expect him to what's the name them later down the line to kind of turn against him and say I never forgot or something like that. Like this is something I'm already pre-planning. And then Daniel Bryanson. And then I loved it how they started off how they're doing the music now. Like I love Ruby Riott's theme song, to be honest. I still love it. And I love hers is something else. I know her name is something else, but it's still fine. Adam Cole, love his new theme song also because I'm sorry, this probably is an old one, but it still was a shocking one nonetheless. His was probably the most shocking in comparison, even with Daniel Bryan's, because we knew Daniel Bryan was going to show up, but we just didn't know when. Adam Cole was the most shocking out of everyone, to be honest. Let's be real. So, I'm going to simply start off by saying this. This is making AEW just strictly more better because the wrestlers that they have, not only can they go out and not only have to go to AEW, but they can go other places. They can go to New Japan for a little bit. They can go to Impact. You see, the doors are open. They're not restricted to just one thing. Their home is AEW, but they can go somewhere else and when they're not much needed. When they're not really much needed. So, overall, this pay per view was actually a pretty decent, nice pay per view. I pretty much could have predicted some of the matches. Like, I didn't expect Christian to really win because didn't he already beat him once? I didn't really expect him to do it again. And I'm surprised that Kenny Omega, seeing how he doesn't like rematches so close together, would accept this, surprisingly, to me personally. But hey, things happen, things happen. But basically, how do I put this? It's not predictable. A lot of the returns or debuts aren't really predictable in AEW like they are in WWE at times, but they do have moments of getting you up in your seat just to get a little excited. I was excited to see Ruby Riott. I'm gonna call her that until I get her name correct. Like I'm good. Like for Aleister Black, until I'm able to say their current names, I'm going to keep calling them this. I'm going to refer them to this if I ever talk about AEW again. I do apologize, but it's just until I get adjusted to it, then I'll call them by that. Trying to force it is difficult for me. So, it was interesting to see Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, and Ruby Riott. Those three were the utmost shocking things that happened, but one above the other. The highest one has got to be Adam Cole, because it felt like it was just a few days ago that he was just on NXT. So, you see what I mean. But understandable, and I like it. And now he can be a bona fide star, like he should be. Because let's be honest, NXT was kind of, How do I put this? How do I put this without being mean? Yes. Him being in NXT was kind of like, okay, this is way overdue. So, yeah, at least we don't have to see him squander in the main roster and barely winning the Intercontinental or the United States, or barely taking home the WWE, or probably coming close and still not winning it. So at least we don't have that to deal with. So I'll let everything else play out. Oh, and one other thing. I love their promos for their matches because their promos are so edgy to put it. It's exactly how I remember wrestling when I was younger, when it felt like every match was a do or die match. I kind of like that. Like I love the one that I saw, the one that when I first turned on, I think I went to a YouTube and the first thing I was hearing was Miro, and I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. But that promo, just the promo by itself made me say, I want to see this match like today, bro. I want to see like right now because it was I don't know, it was so much that I just missed in AEW, and clearly I knew Miro was champion. I already knew that. I just didn't know why they were going against each other. I didn't know any of this, and I'm listening to them go back and forth on the promo, and I was like, I like this, bro. I'm, I was so. And then when he ended it, bro, when he stuck out his hand and everything, I was like, what the fuck is this? I didn't watch every match. Of course, CM Punk, I already knew CM Punk was going to win. It makes sense for him to win. But yeah. But anyways, let's let him go on, and then I will give my 2 cents for everything else.
Night, AEW gave wrestling fans one of the greatest endings to a wrestling show. After a stellar match between Kenny Omega and Christian Cage for the World Championship, Adam Cole made his All Elite Wrestling debut, and the crowd absolutely popped. It appeared that he was going to be the company's next babyface, but that did not happen because instead he aligned himself with his former best friends, well, kind of his still best friends, and Super Kid Jungle Boy right in the face. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega kissed him, and Adam Cole let the world know that the Elite is the most dominant faction in the business of professional wrestling. And Kenny Omega took the mic and was going to wish the audience a good night, and that's when Bryan Danielson made his AEW debut to interrupt the group. Tony Khan really booked 2 massive debuts in the same segments just a few minutes apart. It was absolutely unreal. Because of WWE's lazy booking, I never expected something like this to happen. It sounded way too good to be true, but it was true. Bryan Danielson came out to an even louder pop, and the crowd lost their shit. This was a special moment. The beatdown he gave Nick Jackson afterwards was nice. The yes chants were thunderous, and the moment was just perfect. AEW literally delivered a classic moment that will be remembered forever in wrestling history.
Though.
Not only because it was fun, but because I believe these debuts have changed the landscape of the business itself. Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson were 2 huge signings. AEW now has some real momentum and firepower right now. When you consider the fact that CM Punk,
If you don't mind me saying, actually, I believe that they've already had the firepower, because if you want me to be honest, for me personally, this may be a more personal thing, but I loved Cody Rhodes. I love Cody Rhodes in WWE, and when he left and he went on that whole tirade of just, doing the flip, doing the cartwheel, then throwing the middle finger, I loved it. I love when he joined Bullet Club. I love when he finally was able to drop the Stardust gimmick. I was so excited to see him that I couldn't wait. When he had the Kenny Omega match, I really rooted for him to win. It, Cody Rhodes is by far one of my favorites that probably won't wrestle for every single day, and that's fine. That is fine. But a lot of the ex-WWE stars are kind of, let's be real, going to be the people I really root for more than I root for just wrestlers that I never seen before like that. I don't remember like that. That's the thing. I'm so used to seeing them that they're the names I can recall. They're the ones I can remember. They're the ones I can do a slight chant list. And oh my gosh, if you saw the whole thing with Dan Bryan coming out and it was going, yes, yes, yes. I'm ready for him to do it, but he didn't, and I was like, I don't think he can. He probably can't do it. Or if he can, it's probably gonna be in a different way. But hey. But what I'm saying is this: AEW has they've been had a fighting chance. It was just that they lost to WWE only because, like I stated before, WWE has been there much longer. AEW seemed like a piss poor company at the time. It seemed like an edgy version. It seemed like we're watching like 2016, or not even 2016, 2006, like Raw and stuff like that. Like real old, well, not real old, because that makes me really old, because I was watching it during that time too. When when almost every match felt like a do or die type situation. No matter how stupid the promo was, no matter how stupid the whole thing went, it always felt like a do or die type match. Every single match felt so serious. You get it? That's how I feel about AEW. With the signings that they have, it just makes it even bigger and it makes more people want to watch it. Like I love AEW's roster. I already love their roster. I love what they're doing because it's so different from just okay, you signed with us, now you stuck with us. You can't go nowhere else. If we don't want to use you, you sit on the shelf, accept it. Now they can go somewhere else. And they lost Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole, which is messed up. I guess no more fantasy booking of that. I can't fantasy book that. I can in AEW if they make a game. That'd be pretty nice. But yeah, other than that, let's continue.
Malachi Black, Andrade, Thunder Rosa, and Ruby Soho also joined and signed with the company this year. It is very obvious that the roster is absolutely stacked. I think this literally changed everything.
Spectrum presents useful tips for your useless dish. Man, hold still.
Because it finally put AEW on WWE's level. For so long.
No. The signings are not always what makes the company at times. It's what the company do with the signing that makes the company. Because they could sign the biggest star of all time. Let's say they sign Roman Reigns tomorrow. That doesn't make AEW on WWE's level. No. What would make them on the level is if they can do well with those people. Daniel Bryan, to me, I think he needed a different setting. I think he been needed a different setting for a good while. After 2014, let's be real, I felt like the setting that he needed was obvious. He needed a different setting after a while because eventually he was going to outgrow whatever WWE had left for him. And there was really nothing left. Intercontinental Champion, WWE Champion, Heavyweight Champion, WWE. I think it would have been nice to be Universal Champion for a short period of time, of course, but it's understandable. This is a fan speaking when I say this. The reason I care so much about wrestling is because of these moments, these ideas that can be there. Funny enough, I paused on this picture. This is just hilarious to me. I'm not going to lie. It's just hilarious. Because it feels like he's just laughing at me of everything I'm saying. But no, I don't agree with him saying because they signed these wrestlers that makes them the better one. No. What they do with them makes them the better one. Because they could sign anyone in the world. Look at WWE, for example. They have to do well with these wrestlers. They have to treat them well. They have to put them in good promos. They have to put them in good matches. We already know they're going to put on some great matches, but that's not the point. You get what I'm saying?
WWE did not care about AEW, to be honest, but things have changed. They have the talent, the momentum, and a real shot at surpassing WWE in the ratings. CM Punk's debut was the beginning, but yesterday was the shot heard around the world, and I still believe that Bray Wyatt is also going to join the company, which will only make them stronger. Literally, this is crazy to think about. AEW has a chance to actually compete neck and neck with WWE. Tony Khan literally...
You know what would be funny? I want to say this because saying it for Bray Wyatt. If Bray Wyatt joins, so help me, please. I do not want to see another broken Matt Hardy and what's the name? I've already seen it a few times and I'm good. They did all they could do together. They fought each other. They became even a goddamn tag team. I don't need to see that no more. If he literally signs with AEW, bro, I do not, please. Do not make that a thing every 5 seconds. I probably will pop the first few times, but after a while, I'm not going to be excited to see that from a week-to-week basis, bro. I want that to leave eventually, please. Please, bro.
Really sparked some energy and life back in the pro wrestling world. I've never been this excited about wrestling in a very long time, and that just tells you that this was really special. AEW Dynamite, I believe, can reach 2 million viewers in a few months, if not in a month or two. I don't know. Chris Jericho's prediction sounds about right. We're going to look back at this all-out pay-per-view as the moment that changed AEW and wrestling altogether. I'm really glad I was able to witness it while it was happening live. Obviously not in person, but you know what I mean. Anyways, I think that is enough talking about the debuts. For the rest of the video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the other bouts on the match card.
Okay, good. Yes, this one, bro. Eddie Kingston.
All Out opened up with the
That was
TNT
his name. I forgot his
Championship on
name.
the line between Miro and Eddie Kingston, and I think this was the perfect.
I love the promo. The promo just had me set. I already knew Miro was gonna win. No, I didn't. I did know who was gonna win. Cause I ain't gonna lie, that whole thing, everything that he said, it. Let me put it like this: it made me feel like it wasn't a wrestling match. It made me feel like it was like a legitimate fight. That's what it made me feel like, and I was actually really happy to see it, bro.
Way to start off the show. It was a nice physical match. This is the Miro that I wanted to see from the beginning of his AEW debut, and I'm really glad that he changed his persona over time because Miro has been killing it. He's a great TNT champion, putting on fantastic matches with anyone in that ring. The gimmick is also really good as well. Eddie Kingston, on the other hand, has also delivered in this match too. This was by far my favorite Eddie Kingston match in AEW, outside of maybe that match with Cody Rhodes. This was good stuff.
I want to say this. Any John Moxley match, I'm expecting just pure destruction. Like, did you not see the whole Zack Ryder thing he did, bro? He took Zack Ryder's championship, bro. Wait, did he take John's? That's what he did, right? I just saw it on Instagram, so I don't know. I think that's what he did. He took the title, right? He took his title. John Moxley took his title, right? Or somebody else took his title, and then John Moxley attacked him. Either way it go, it was still nice to see my boy. I love my boy John Moxley. I never hated this boy. This is my man's.
The next match on the card was Jon Moxley taking on New Japan legend Kojima. I'm not gonna lie, I had some doubts about this match because I was not sure if a 51-year-old legend was able to put on a good match, but thankfully he proved me wrong. Kojima and Moxley kept the momentum going for the show because this was another great match. Similar to Miro versus Kingston, this was about two men that were actually beating the crap out of each other.
I would expect
After the match came to an end, we got a nice surprise because Minoru Suzuki came out to confront Moxley, and then both of them proceeded to give us a preview of what is to come later on.
Yes, please.
That match between those two is going to be must-see television programming.
I know.
It takes place
Two
on
hard-hitting styles against each other, bro.
It's insane to think that AEW is actually just giving it out for free. Like, that's just wild. What is Tony Khan doing? What other surprises does he have that he's able to give this for free?
Pre-order digitally and get instant access to the Night Raid Mastercraft in Black Ops Cold War and Warzone.
Looks nice.
Early risers, all-nighters. Slow pours, fast cram.
I'm sorry. How do I say this? I love her title reign. I love her title reign at the moment. It is extremely good. It is much needed. I believe that their women division has a good roster but needs a little bit more oomph, if you know what I mean. I believe that they do need a few more female wrestlers. They don't have to come from WWE. They can come from other companies, but they just have to be a little bit more name brand, if you want me to be honest. That's how I feel for the women division when it comes to AEW.
After that, we had Britt Baker defending her women's championship against Chris Statlander. I knew this match was going to be good because both of these ladies are some of the best wrestlers in the women's division. It was fun, and whoever booked the ending is a genius because that was a perfect way to end it. Britt Baker is just such a good champion, and she needs to hold that championship for as long as she can.
Oh wait, isn't this with the Young Bucks? And I forgot the names. I'm so sorry, but bro, I was expecting like a hard-hitting affair when it came to like a lot of matches. I'm expecting like either hard-hitting affair, technical wrestling, just upright. We just not giving up until I can't go any longer type matches. That's what I'm expecting from AEW. If you want to be real, from the pay-per-views to the just normal matches. That's what I'm expecting, bro. But if this is it, because he didn't put the name, so if this is it, bro, I'm glad the Young Bucks lost their titles. Really happy for this.
We need to talk about the tag team steel cage match with the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros. This is everything it needed to be. I wish they would have sold some moves a little bit better and more, but I'll let it
Yeah.
slide because these two teams did unbelievable things that we've never
I love
seen
the
in a
entrance.
steel cage match. The Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks absolutely killed it. The spots made the match, and the story they told was just beautiful and emotional. That ending was also, it was beautiful. It was amazing. I loved it. At one point, though, I was worried seeing Rey Fenix literally run the top of the cage without a care in the world, but he was fine and he even jumped onto his opponents from the top of the cage, which honestly is way too high. That thing is crazy high. Anyways, the Lucha Bros winning the match was the right
Yes.
call. They
Yes, it
deserve the
was.
titles. These two teams set the bar high when it comes to a steel cage match, and I don't think we're ever going to see anything like that ever again.
You tripping, man? No, no, no. My woman came out of no. I was not prepared for this, bro. I'm watching everybody else come up cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my fucking gosh, why is she here? What the fudge? You're tripping, bro. I was losing my mind, bro.
The Casino Battle Royal wasn't anything too special in the beginning. It was your standard over-the-top Battle
Yeah.
Royal, but things picked up when we saw the Joker. Ruby Soho is now all elite.
Ruby Soho.
She came, she conquered, and she even won the match.
I
Although I
know,
do
I'm
love
so
Thunder
proud of her.
Rosa, we all know that her time will come later. But right now, I am beyond excited
so
for a
proud of
feud
her.
between Ruby
Bro,
and
I'm-
Baker.
bro.
That is going to be a good program, and the women's division is clearly on the rise, and I can't wait to see
Yeah,
the
they still
future
growing
of
a
it.
little bit. I'm sorry. I think that this is always going to be some good matches between those two. Let's be real for a second. Let's really talk. If y'all want to talk about it, let's talk about it. I love the entire rivalry that they had. At first, MJF just wanted to join. And then after all, he wanted to overthrow Chris Jericho. And then he tried to make his own stable to basically combat him. And then they had that whole little deathmatch thingy and all that. And then yeah, I like the whole program between it. So I love this. This is really good. I'm not gonna lie. I just love this entire one of my favorite feuds of AEW.
Chris Jericho put his AEW
Oh, it's the
career
final
on the
fight,
line
too. Oh
in
my
this
God.
match against MJF, and this was actually a good match. I say actually because I feel like Jericho's in-ring work has been on a decline for quite some time now.
Understandable.
But this was one of his better matches in recent months. It definitely helped that he was working with MJF because, he didn't really need to do over-the-top moves that his body cannot perform. This was a classic wrestling match that told a good story.
Yes.
MJF cheating to win and then restarting the match was also a nice touch because that got the crowd heavily engaged in it. Chris Jericho eventually got his win to a thunderous pop, and I really enjoyed this match. I still think
Yes, I love
MJF
how
is one of the
everybody else-
best talents in AEW, and it's not even close. When he is on the top of the card as the AEW champion, it is going to be a scary sight to see.
Yes. I'm sorry. I was expecting high hopes for this match when they said it was going to come. The reason being is because it is one Darby Allin, and I'm not going to lie, he is one of my favorite AEW wrestlers. Like wrestler that I've never really heard too much about. Darby Allin's my favorite. Why? I can't really tell you why. He gives me this weird vibe of underdog that can really put on the greatest of shows. That's what he gives me, like that kind. He gives me like that underdog that you just love to see. That's how I feel when it comes to him. To be honest, I see him as an underdog that just great. That just should. I can't wait for him to be at the top. I loved him as TNT champion. I loved it. He's still the man. It's CM Punk. I really don't have nothing to say. Who really needs me to say anything to CM Punk?
I think CM Punk had a ton of pressure last night. Many people have high expectations for him, and you can tell he was stressed out if you take a look at his tweets. It's fair to say, though, that he has not missed a step. CM Punk arrived, delivered, and proved that he still got it in that ring. Pairing him with Darby Allin in his return match was also very wise. Allin does not have any bad matches. The only thing I didn't like about this was CM Punk's attire. It was pretty ugly, and that's sad because CM Punk always has the...
I didn't really judge the entire. I see what was going on with the attire. It was tights, and it wasn't like the normal ones that he normally wear. It wasn't the trunks that he normally wear. And I was like, I didn't really dislike it. It was just different. I didn't think it was bad. I just thought it was like, it's cool.
best attires, but outside of that, everything else was top notch.
Now let's talk about this, and I will say this. One thing that I like about AEW is because if you look at how Christian has been on any part of his career, I'm not talking about just WWE. I'm talking about compared to every company he's been in. And if you've watched it, because I've only watched him in literally two companies, if you want to be honest. I haven't seen him in any other. If he has, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry. But to me personally, he's not the highest of all of the. He's not. But I do have to say that he is really good. He is not at his prime. I think he's a little bit above the prime aspect of it all. Not too far, but enough to say that if he stopped wrestling tomorrow, I wouldn't really think it was like game over or nothing like that. I would just be like, okay, it's fair. When it comes to Christian, I will say I loved how. I think it's obvious what I'm about to say when it comes to WWE. The whole Randy Orton storyline. I love that one. It's one of my favorite ones when it came for Christian in particular. Like I would have loved for him to be in WWE a little bit longer to be able to tag with Edge a little bit, just a little bit. I think that would have been just some cool little stuff right then and there. But it's fine that he's in AEW and he's killing it too. He's killing it. This match, I did expect Kenny Omega to win. I didn't expect Kenny because I think didn't Kenny Omega already lose to him for the Impact Championship, so I didn't really expect him to take home the AEW one. So it wasn't really a shocker. The shocker was Aftermath, so yeah.
And the main event of the show was Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. The match was...
I'm sorry. I'm not used to Kenny Omega having a beard and all that, like the mustacho. I'm not used to him having all that, so it did throw me off. And then the color of his hair threw me off too. Well, not really the color of his hair, not really. It was just the facial hair threw me smooth off. I'm sorry, it really did. Wasn't prepared for it, but hey, it was there and it was cool.
So good. I love Christian's work because he's so good. I think he's been putting on better matches than Edge, in my honest opinion, right now. Okay. I don't like to compare too much, but his work rate has been superb. Cage and Omega have really good chemistry together as well. This was just another classic match between the two of them, and we already know what happened afterwards. Overall, All Out was one of the best wrestling shows I've ever seen, and I am excited about wrestling again. And for that, I have to say thank you, Tony Khan.
I give this, if I had to ever give ratings, if I ever could do this, I would give the entire show out of 5 stars. I would give it a, how do I put this? I would give it a 6 stars, and the only reason is because any type of boring thing that you think would have, been from, let's say, put like this, someone that watches a lot of WWE, watches massive amounts of WWE, when you put AEW involved in it, I will say this, when it comes to like the two of them, like let's say you took someone straight from WWE, straight from always watching it to watch AEW, I think they would have been excited to see, a lot of the, what's the names, and I think what makes it fun and nice, he didn't talk about every match, but he talked about a good chunk of them. He didn't talk about my man Big Show, he didn't talk about that, now did you, bro? But I do like that almost any time that you would think, this is going to be a boring kind of basic match, something like Ruby Soho pops up. It's just going to be Kenny Omega obviously winning this one. Oh, not only did we get Adam Cole, but Daniel Bryan. Okay. And so things like that does balance out a lot of different things. And I think they don't have to make a debut and return every single pay-per-view or something like that. They don't have to end it like that. They can always end it with like something really spectacular. Like they can always like change it up a bit and things like that. But it's just that it gives me like that feel that anything can really happen type thing. Not like how WWE, we kind of used to this, that, and the other. Boom, this is the result. Because we're already looking past it. It feels like we're in the present and then we look towards the future when we see a new face or a returning face. That's the only really time. But other than that, this entire pay-per-view was a really good one. I give it a 6 stars. Golden 6 stars on my end. But I wouldn't leave it up to 5 stars. I probably would have to max it to 10 if I had any say-so in this. Yeah. So there you go.